Good evening, everyone. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Phanuelle Duchatelier, and it is such an honor to be surrounded by lawyers, judges, and aspiring attorneys. And it's just such a pleasure to be here. Tonight, aspiring attorneys, I want to talk about different tools as you are being welcomed into this legal family, different tools to arm yourself to be able to succeed. And these are the tools that I have used and I continue to use, and hopefully they will be helpful to you. So the first tool that I want to talk about is the tool of dedication. In this path that you are about to embark, you have to be fully dedicated. Some of you are, you spend time on Snapchat, social media, Facebook, and these are times that you could be spending applying to some fellowships, some scholarships. One of the things that I did when I was in undergrad is that I contacted several law firms in Michigan, and I was very motivated. I was like, okay, you know what? I have got to do this. And I ended up receiving a full LSAT prep course paid by one of the top law firms in Michigan. And in college and in law school, I'm known as Grandma. And I wear that crown very proudly. And that meant that I had to spend my time during the weekend sometimes applying to some fellowship and to some scholarship. And as a result of that, I ended up doing some pre-law program at Iowa University, where I am now a Hubbard Fellow. One of the things that I would encourage you to do as you embark on this journey is to wear your glasses and to just take a look at yourself and know your weakness and face it on and work at it. And don't be embarrassed to ask for help. And I must admit that I'm still working at this specific tool. I am a polyglot, so that means that I speak 5 languages very fluently. So for me, sometimes taking standardized tests can be a bit difficult for me. That's something that I've learned earlier on. It was a hard truth. It was a very horrible truth, but that meant that I needed to take some tools in order to help me get to the point that I needed to be. So thus, I applied to all of those. I contacted some law firms and asked to be able to get some law LSAT prep. But you have to, while you are learning your weakness and working at it, you have to be consistent. Work in these areas that you struggle in, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I'd like to encourage you to empower yourself with tenacity. Be tenacious. Are you being called into this field? And ask yourself again. Do your research. Don't be afraid when you get a door that is closed to be able to continue to knock. Or maybe you ask a friend, hey, you know what did I do wrong? Maybe there's something that I could have changed. I know that when I look into this room, and I've spoke with some of you who've come by the table, the Malsa table, I know some of you have been speaking to me and asking the right question, and this is exactly where you need to be. Don't be afraid to network, and don't be afraid to ask people, do you offer some scholarships? Do you offer some full rides? Okay, you're trying to get me into your school, so what do you have to offer me, right? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, because hard work really does pay off. And I'm not saying that you can't have fun, and actually, I would encourage you to have fun during the process. One of the things that we often neglect to do is to take care of ourselves, which brings me to my second point. You have to take care of yourself. We often neglect to talk about mental health, and I want to touch a little bit on that. Several years ago, I found myself engulfed in despair and depression due to various assassination attempt and kidnapping attempt that my family and I had faced. And I had to admit to myself that I needed professional help to combat the PTSD and the trauma that I face in order to have a healthy mind and be the best version of myself. Now, it's something that we don't talk about. It's something that even watching the news, it gives us trauma. But we need to remember that we can't help others before we help, ourselves. And sometimes it's hard because I know some of us in the room, we help others and then we forget about ourselves, and we like to do so much. But in order to, as you embark in this journey and you're a part now of this legal family, I'd like to encourage you to take time. Just find something that you're passionate about. Is it dancing? Go out and take those salsa lessons. Is it running? Start running. Is it yoga? I recently started a hot yoga class. I almost passed out the other day. I would not encourage that, but do something that you are passionate about and keep that as a habit that you can carry throughout law school. I have to tell you that I'm a runner. I have not ran now for quite some time since the summer. But that habit that I started before law school helped me get through some time as I embarked in law school. Now, during law school, we all established that those who are interested in going into law school, you will get into law school. You are a part of this family. Now, you are in law school. One of the things that I will encourage you to do as you're in law school and being a part of that, just remember your passion and goal. Don't forget that. Remember the things that make you happy. Remember the things that give you that passion and that drive. For me, 2 years ago, I received a fellowship, and I worked with one of my professors who was doing work in Cuba. And he's like, why don't you start your nonprofit? And for me, that was a way to be engulfed into the international human rights work. Vermont really focuses on environmental law. I took several classes that really pushed me to, learn more about environmental justice, which really brought me to spending a month in Southeast Asia. So I combined my passion for travel, my passion for the environment and others into one. And as you are embarking this journey, remember what brings you joy, because you want to be happy. Those times where you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, this is so hard, you're gonna remember that, oh, this is why I'm doing this. So above all, be respectful, be courteous, and just remember why you are here. Remember your past. A few months ago, and many people do not know this, the town that I live in, Harriet Tubman, actually lived there at some point. My landlord informed me that my room, the room that I was in, had a tunnel that was a part of the Underground Railroad. And you can just imagine I went through all sorts of emotion. I was excited. I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm not worthy to be here. And for some reason, that motivated me to push harder, because I knew that, wow, my ancestor went through this, and here I am in this position to be able to know how to read, to be able to know how to write, to be able to go to school with people that do not look like me, and to be able to be boisterous in the classroom. I had a right to be in there. And for me, that was my motivation to be there. And that continues to fuel my motivation. So I encourage you to be you. You are you yourself. There's a painting that is being painted, and that at the end of the day is going to be your masterpiece. Comparison is the biggest crippling, worst tool on earth. Do not compare yourself with anyone. Your destiny is your destiny. I know that I am different from everyone else, and I know that I have some weaknesses and I have some strength, and I know that at the end of the day, I am me because I have all those things that create who I am. So I encourage you to be disciplined, to be tenacious, and when you walk into the room, that know that you deserve to be there as well, and you have a lot to bring at the table. Do not look down at yourself, and remember to be dedicated. Thank you.